Okay, we are starting now. लास्ट क्या हुआ था?
2009
वो टीचर ट्रेनिंग। ओके, माल फंक्शन माल न्यूट्रिशन के बारे में डिस्कशन हो रहा था। जो बच्चे 1 साल पूरा होने से पहले जिनका डेथ हो रहा था। आगे आके बैठिए तो आप लोग आइए इधर। मुझे नहीं पता था बीबीए फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर के बच्चे को ये सिखाना पड़ता है कि टीचर के इंटर होने के बाद बच्चे आपस में बात नहीं करते। क्या ये सब मैनर्स आपको बताना होगा? ये सारा तो स्कूल में बताया जाता है, नहीं बताया गया है। आइए बताया जाए। आइए सेकंड बेंच पे यहाँ बैठिए इधर। लास्ट 2 बेंच जो बैठे हुए हैं, कम एंड सेट ओवर हियर। बैग लेके आने की जरूरत नहीं है, बस आगे आगे बैठ जाइए। कम आइए आइए, कम। स्टार्ट, यू स्टार्ट प्रिया। शुरू किया जाए। अब आवाज नहीं होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? तो लास्ट क्लास में हम लोगों ने डिस्कशन किया था कि कैसे 1 साल से पहले ही बच्चे का डेथ हो रहा था। रूट काउज देखा गया, बिकॉज ऑफ लैक ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन। मदर ठीक से खा नहीं रही थी, जिसकी वजह से ये डेथ हो रहा था। ठीक है, एजुकेट करने के लिए टीचर्स को ट्रेनिंग दिया जा रहा है। यहाँ से अब हम लोगों को पढ़ना है। पुअर टीचर ट्रेनिंग से पढ़ना शुरू करें, क्योंकि ये कनेक्टेड है।
Poor teacher training. The officials working with audit finally figured out was a
root cause of high infant mortality.
If you ask doctors or public health officials for a plan to fight infant death, none of them would have suggested changing how teachers are trained. They would not have known there was a link. However, by teaching college students about biology, you made it possible for them to eventually pass on that knowledge to teenagers who started eating.
Good morning, ma'am.
Years later gave birth to stronger babies. Today, the US infant mortality rate is 68% lower than when O'Neill started the show.
Okay, now pass mic to that girl behind you. Behind you. गर्ल्स में सबसे ज्यादा टॉकेटिव आप ही है, मुझे लगता है। हमेशा नजर आते हैं बात करते हुए। अभी नहीं कर रहे थे, अभी नहीं कर रहे थे ऑब्वियसली, लेकिन जब नजर पड़ता है आप ही लोग बात कर रहे होते हैं। स्टार्ट। अच्छा,
The same thing can happen in people's lives. For example, about 20 years ago,
से ओनिल एक्सपीरियंसेस।
only experience with structures that help other habits to flourish. In the case of premature death,
Rohit, come over here and sit.
Curriculums for teachers started a chain reaction that eventually trickled down to how girls were educated in rural areas and whether they were sufficiently nourished when they become pregnant. And owner's habit of constantly pushing other students to continue researching until they found out problems root causes overhauled how the government proved about problems like infant mortality. The same
Infant. What do you mean by mortality? Anyone? Infant mortality मतलब डेथ रेट को मोर्टेलिटी रेट बोलते हैं हम लोग, ठीक है। आपको भी डेली रीडिंग की जरूरत है। इधर से आइए, सेकेंड लास्ट बेंच, कॉर्नर वन, पर्सन विथ, हालांकि सबको बेड ही है। हर्षराज, ओके, यस हर्षराज। कौन है हर्षराज? प्लीज स्टैंड। हाँ आप वैसे नहीं। हर्षराज प्लीज कम। HR, ओके। हिमेश रेशमिया, HR तो वही फेमस है बॉलीवुड में। इधर बैठ जाइए। और कितने लोग आज तक रीडिंग नहीं दिए यहाँ पे इस क्लास में? ओके, देन नेक्स्ट बी रीडिंग।
The same thing can happen in people's life. For example,
हो गया, साइलेंस प्लीज।
until about 20 years ago, conventional wisdom held that the best way for people to lose weight was to radically alter their lives. Doctor would give obese patients strict diets and tell them to join a gym, attend regular counseling sessions, sometimes as often as every day, and shift their daily routines by walking upstairs, for instance, instead of taking the elevator. Only by completely shaking up someone's life, the thinking went.
Don't stare him. I can understand. कोई इस तरीके से stare करेगा तो obviously uncomfortable होगा वो।
The thinking went, could their bad habits be reformed? But when researchers studied the effectiveness of these methods over prolonged periods, they discovered they were failures. Patient would use the stairs for a few weeks, but by the end of the month, it was too much hassle. They began diets and joined the gym, but after initial burst of enthusiasm wore off, they slid back into their old eating and slide back into their old eating and TV watching habits. Piling on so much change at once made it impossible for any of it to stick.
मतलब समझना है, कोई भी हैबिट अगर चेंज करना है तो डोंट पाइल अप, ठीक है। छोटा छोटा हैबिट चेंज करिए तो ऑटोमेटिकली वो चेंज आ जाएगा, ठीक है। आपका रीडिंग सही है, आपको प्रॉब्लम है। और कोई? 85 आइए, 85 कम।
Then, sir.
Then in 2009,
Then in 2009, a group of researchers founded by the funded by the National Institute of Health published a study of different approach to weight loss. They had assembled a group of 1,600 of obese people and asked them to concentrate on writing the everything. They act at the least one day per week. It was hard at first. The subject,
एक मिनट रुकिए, अभी ठीक है?
yes, it was hard at first. The subject forgot to carry their food journals on wood, snack and not note it. Slowly,
ये माइक कुछ करने के लिए दिया गया है।
Slowly, however, people started recording their meals once a week and sometimes more often. Many participants started keeping a daily food log. Eventually, it became a habit. Then sometime unexpected happened. The participants started looking at their entire and injuries and finding partners. They did patterns. They did not excited. Some noticed they always seemed to snack at about 10 a.m. So they began keeping an apple or banana on their desk for mid-morning.
मंचीज मंच करना, हमें कुछ ना कुछ खाते रहना, छोटी छोटी भूख, that is munching.
Others started using their journal to plan future menu, and when dinner rolled around, they rolled around, they ate the healthy meal they had written down rather than junk food from their fridge.
Okay, leave it. Now, आप ही आइए अंकित, आप आइए ना, आ जाइए, दोबारा पढ़ लीजिए, आपको जरूरत है प्रैक्टिस का। हो गया। The researcher hadn't suggested.
The researchers hasn't suggested any of these behaviors. They had simply asked everyone to write down what they ate once a week. But the keystone habit, the food journaling created a structure that helped other habits to flourish. 6 months into the study, people who kept daily food record had lost twice as much weight as everyone else. After a while, the general got inside my head. One person told me I started thinking about meals differently. It gave me a system for thinking about the food without becoming depressed. Sometimes similar happened at Alcoa.
क्या है अल्कोआ यहाँ पे?
क्या?
अल्कोआ क्या है यहाँ पे?
यहाँ पे नेम है।
किसका नाम?
एक पुरुष है।
पुरुष का नाम है। ओके। किसका नाम है अल्कोआ? अल्कोआ इज अ कंपनी जिसके सीईओ हैं ओनील। वो डिस्कशन हो रहा है। प्रोसीड। बुक पढ़ के देखिए, इट इज अ गुड बुक। ऑथर विल नॉट अलाउ यू टू स्टॉप। ठीक है, पहले ये पढ़ लीजिए, फिर चलेंगे वहां पे।
बुक लाइब्रेरी में नहीं था।
ये अरे PDF अवेलेबल है, आप ऐसे खरीद भी सकते हैं। ऐसे तो कितना उड़ाते होंगे, हार्डली 100 समथिंग का ये बुक होगा।
Alcoa, after O'Neill took over, just as Food General provided a structure for other habit of florist, O'Neill O'Neill's safety habits create an atmosphere in which other behaviors emerged. Earlier on, O'Neill took the unusual step of ordering Alcoa office around the world to link up in an electronics network. This was in the earlier 90s, 80s, which when large international networks weren't usually connected to the people desktop computers. O'Neill justified his order by arguing that it was essential to create a real-time safety data system that managed to be used to share suggestion. As a result, Alcoa developed one of the first genuinely worldwide corporate email system. O'Neill logged on every one morning. Logged on every one morning and is sorry. Every morning and sent message to make sure everyone else has logged on as well. At first, people use the network primarily to discuss safety issue. Then the email habit become more ingrained and comfortable. They start posting information on the kind of the other topics such as local market condition, self-equities, and business problems. Self-codes, sorry. Self-codes.
हो गया।
High-ranking executive were required to send in a report every Friday, which everyone in the company could read. A manager in
ये सब minor mistake है लेकिन
a
इसको कहते हैं slip of tongue। चलिए, which anyone
a manager in Brazil, वो तो पढ़ दिया.
which
anyone in the company could read. A manager in Brazil used the network to send a colleague in New York data on change in the price of steels. The New York took that information and turned a quick profit to the company on Wall Street. Pretty soon, everyone was using the system to communicate about everything. I could send in my accident report and I knew everyone else read it. So I figured, why not send pricing information or intelligence on the other companies. One manager told me it was like we have discovered a secret weapon. The competition.
couldn't
The
figure.
competition.
Yeah.
The competition couldn't figure out how we were doing it. When the web blossomed, Alcoa was perfectly positioned to make advantage. O'Neill keystone habit work safety and had created a platform that encouraged another participant email year ahead of competitors.
Okay, done. From that side, pass the mic. In 1996,
by 1996, Paul O'Neill had been at Alcoa for almost a decade. His leadership had been studied by the
उनके लीडरशिप के बारे में हार्वर्ड बिजनेस स्कूल में भी बताया जाता है।
Harvard Business School and the Kennedy School of Government. He was regularly maintained as a potential
कहाँ से
commerce-
आवाज आ रही है भाई? वो पढ़ लेगी, उसको पढ़ने दीजिए, टाइम दीजिए थोड़ा। He was
He was regularly maintained as a potential commerce scarce secretary or secretary of defense. His employee and the union gave it high marks. Under his watch, Alcoa stock price had risen more than 200%. There was at last a universal knowledge success.
एक बार दोबारा पढ़िए।
Acknowledge success.
प्रोजेक्ट वगैरह बनाना पड़ेगा, उसमें एक्नॉलेजमेंट देना होगा।
In May of that year, at a shareholder meeting in Downward, his
हर्षराज के आगे जो बैठा है उसको दे दीजिए माइक। नहीं, उसी को दोबारा पढ़िए, फिर पढ़िए, तो बात क्यों कर रहे थे? बेटा एंगेज होइए अच्छे काम में, पढ़िए। वहां से नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है। In May of that year,
at a shareholder meeting in downtown, it was dedicated
कोशिश करिए हो जाएगा। बेनेडिक्टीन नन, जिस जगह का नाम है उसकी नन stood up
during the question and answer session and ensured O'Neill of Lane, sister Mary. Margaret responded a social, represented a social advocacy group on grade about wages and
यानी अब ब्लेम लगने वाला है ओनील पे। जहाँ आप तक तारीफ सुन रहे हैं, अब ब्लेम किया जा रहा है। कौन कर रहा है? कौन कर रहा है? जो नन है, हाँ सिस्टर जो है वो कर रही है। क्या कर रही है आगे देखिए।
about wages and condition inside an Alco plan.
हुआ प्लान, पूरा स्टोरी खत्म हो गया, इसका नाम नहीं पड़ा।
Alco plan. In Cuda,
आँख बंद कर लेते हैं, देखेंगे तब तो पढ़ पाएंगे। Vacuna,
Mexico, she said that will only
while
O'Neill extol
थोड़ा सांस ले लीजिए, रहने चाहिए, बस बात नहीं करना चाहिए। और वहाँ जाइए, पीछे जाइए आप, उसको भेजिए। लास्ट बेंच ब्लैक मास्क, इधर जो बैठा है कॉर्नर में, हाँ आप ही, आप जाइए पीछे जाइए, थोड़ा सांस ले लीजिए। जाइए, बैठेगा कहाँ वो? उठिए उठिए, आप बैठिए ना। वो लोग पीछे चले जाएंगे, काम कैसे चलेगा? चलिए पीछे जाइए, बात करते हुए नजर नहीं आना चाहिए। आप बैठिए।
वहां से पढ़ना
Cursor is moving.
It's unnatural.
Huh?
It's untrue. Unai told the room. On this laptop, he pulled up the safety records from the Mexican plants. See, he said, showing the room its high score on
Focus
safety,
over here. अब आप ही की बारी है। इसके बाद
environmental complaints, and employee satisfaction survey. The executive in charge of the facility, Robert Barton, was one of the airport's most senior managers. He had been with the company for decades and was responsible for some of their largest partnerships. The nun said that the audience shouldn't or once she sat down. After the meeting, audience asked for her to come to their office. The nun's religious order on 50 shares for a month. They had been asking for a shareholders vote on a resolution to review the company's Mexican operations. When it asked Sister Mary if she had been any of the plants herself, no, she told him to be a safe. Ernest asked the company head of human resources and general counsels to fly to the Mexican Sea. That's what going on. When the executive arrives, they poked through the active plant's records and found reports of an incident that had never been sent to the headquarters. A few months earlier, there had been a build-up of fumes within the buildings. It was relatively minor events. The plant's executive Barton has installed. When
Barton had installed. यही है मेन जो ब्लेम किया जा रहा है, यही ब्लेम क्या क्या ब्लेम किया जा रहा है, पूरा कंप्लीट कर लीजिए यहाँ तक.
To remove the gases, the people who had become ill had fully recovered within a day or two, but Barton had never reported the illness. When the executive returned illness.
हाँ, तो आप ये देखिए यहाँ पे यही चीज ब्लेम किया गया है कि बिल्डिंग में एक फ्यूल मतलब आग लगी हुई थी जिसके धुएं से वर्कर का तबीयत खराब हो गया. तो बेसिकली क्या हुआ था ये नहीं बताया गया, बस हाँ वो जल्दी रिकवर हो गया, लेकिन इस बात का खबर उन्हीं तक नहीं पहुंचा. ठीक है, तो जो ये बार्टन है ही वाज रिस्पांसिबल फॉर ऑल दिस थिंग, और ये बहुत ही एक तरीके से बोलिए इम्पोर्टेंट एम्प्लॉय है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए. ठीक है, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का नाम किस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए? अल्कोआ. ठीक है, अब आप पढ़िए बीच में मिडिल वन. यहाँ से when the executives
returns to his club and presented their findings. Only had a question. Did Bob Burton know that people had gotten sick? We don't meet with him, they answered. But yeah, it's pretty clear he knows. 2 days later, Barton was fired.
तो आपने देखा जबकि इम्पोर्टेंट एम्प्लॉय है फिर भी वो क्राइम किया, इन्फॉर्म नहीं किया, तो ही वाज फायर्ड.
Some outsider, Barton had mentioned articles as one of the company's most valuable activities. His departure was a blow to the important joint ventures.
आपका ध्यान यहाँ होना चाहिए.
However, no one was surprised. It was seen as an eventual
inevitable extension
of the culture that O'Neill had built. Barton fired himself on one of his colleagues told me. Colleagues told me there wasn't even a choice here. This is the final way that Keystone habits encourage widespread change by creating cultures where new values become ingrained. Keystone habit makes so choices such as firing a topic.
ये टफ है. Tough choices.
Because when that person violates the culture, it fears they have to go.
अपने बगल वाले को दीजिए. Have to go के बाद.
Sometimes these cultures manifest themselves in a special vocabulary, the use of which becomes itself a habit that defines an organization. At Alcoa, for instance, there were core programs and safety philosophies, phrases that acted like suitcases containing whole conversations about priorities, goals, and a way of thinking. It might have been hard to another company to fire someone who had been there so long. O'Neill told me, it wasn't hard for me. It was clear what our values dictated. He got fired because he didn't report the incident, and so no one else had the opportunity to learn from it. Not sharing an opportunity to learn is a cardinal sin. Cultures grow out of the keystone habits in every organization, whether leaders are aware of them or not. For instance, when researchers studied an incoming class or cadets at West Point, they measured their grade point average, physical aptitude, military abilities, and self-discipline. When they correlated those factors with whether students dropped out or graduated, however, they found that all of them mattered less than a factor researchers referred to as greed, which they defined as the tendency to work strenuously toward challenges, maintaining effort and interest over years despite failures, adversity, and plateaus in progress. What's most interesting about greed is how it emerges. It grew out of a culture that create or for themselves, and that culture often immerse because of keystone habits. They adopt a West Point. There's so much about this school that's hard. One cadet told me they call the first summer beast barracks because they want to grind you down. Tons of people fight before the school years start, but I found
Point
this
है.
group of guys
छोड़ देते हैं स्कूल.
a school year start. But I
रहने
found
दीजिए, फटाफट आप कंप्लीट कर लीजिए.
But I found this group of guys in the first couple of days here, and we started this thing where every morning we get together to make sure everyone is feeling strong. I go to them if I am feeling worried or down, and I know they will pump me back up. There's only 9 of us, and we call ourselves the Mugsters. Without them, I don't think I would have listed a month here. Cadets who are successfully at West Point arrive at the school armed with habits of mental and physical discipline. Those assets, however, only carry you so far. To succeed, they need to a keystone habit that creates a culture, such as a daily gathering for like-minded friends to help find the strength to overcome obstacles. Keystone habits transform us by creating cultures and that make clear the values that in the habit of a difficult decision or a moment of uncertainty we might otherwise forget. In 2000, O'Neill retired from Alcoa, and at the request of the newly elected President George W. Bush, became Secretary of the Treasury. He left that post 2 years later and today spends most of his time teaching hospitals how to focus on worker safety and keystone habits that can lower medical error rates, as well as serving on various corporate boards, companies, and organizations across America. In the meantime, has embraced the idea of using keystone habits to remake workplace. At IBM, for instance, Lou Gersten rebuilt the firm by initially concentrating on one keystone habit, IBM's research and selling routines. At the consulting firm McKinsey company, a culture of continuous improvement is created through a habit of wide-ranging internal critics that are at the core of every assignment. Within Goldman Sachs, a keystone habits of risk assignments undergrades every decision. At Alcoa, O'Neill's legacy lives on. Even in his absence, the injury rates has continued to decline. In 2010, 82% of Alcoa location didn't lose one employee day due to injury, close to an all-time high. On average, workers are more likely to get injured at a software company, animating cartoons for movie studios, or doing taxes as a accountant than handling molten aluminum at Alcoa. When I was made a plant manager, said Jeff Soke manager. The Alcoa executive, the first day I pulled into the parking lot, I saw all these parking spaces near the front doors with people titles on them. The head guy of his or that, of this or that. People who were important got the best parking spots. The first thing I did was tell a maintenance manager to paint over all the titles. I wanted whoever got to work earliest to get the best spot. Everyone understand the message, every person matters. It was an extension of what Paul was doing around worker safety. The electrified the plant. Pretty soon everyone was getting to work earlier each day.
इसके बाद जो आप देख रहे हैं वो जस्ट ऐसे है, बेसिकली वो कोलोनियल और बुश दोनों का जो स्टाइल था वो जस्ट डिफरेंस था, ठीक है, दोनों के थिंकिंग स्टाइल में डिफरेंस था, तो वो छोड़ दिया कंपनी, ठीक है। तो बेसिकली अब आप अपने लाइफ से कैसे रिलेट करेंगे, पूरा देख लिए की स्टूडेंट हैबिट, बताइए। कुछ भी अगर चेंजेस लाना है, कुछ भी करने का मन है, लाइक बुक ही पढ़ने का मन है, तो हम छोटे छोटे चीज से शुरू करेंगे। एक्सरसाइज ही करना है, वेट ही लूज करना है, छोटे छोटे चीज से शुरू करेंगे, ठीक है। बेसिकली ये बुक लाइफ पे इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए ही है, तो इसका फायदा है। अभी क्लास किन पे है? क्लास से मैं अभी गई नहीं हूँ। लाइट ऑन करो। ओके, रोल 1।
Yes, ma'am. Roll number 1.
2,
Yes, ma'am. 2.
3,
Yes, ma'am. 3.
4,
Yes, ma'am. 4.
5, 6,
Yes, ma'am. 6.
7,
Yes, ma'am.
8,
Yes, ma'am.
9,
Present, ma'am. 9.
10,
Yes, ma'am. 10.
10 है, 11, 12,
Yes, ma'am. 12.
13, 14,
Yes, ma'am. 14.
16, 17, 18, 19,
Yes, ma'am. 18.
19,
Yes,
ma'am. 19.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 27 है, 28, 29, 30, 31.
Yes, ma'am. 31.
बॉयज रूम में जाके बैठिए रोहित। 32, 33, 34, 35,
34, ma'am. 34, ma'am.
35, 36, 37, 38, 39,
39 parent, ma'am.
40, 41, 42,
Yes, ma'am. 41.
42, 43, 3, 44,
Yes, ma'am. 44.
46, 47,
Yes,
48.
ma'am.
Ma'am, 45. Ma'am, 45.
आपके लिए भी वही मैसेज है, उस साइड बैठी.
Yes, ma'am.
All
47.
45.
ओके 45, 46 हो गया. 47,
Yes, ma'am.
48, 49, 50,
Yes, ma'am. 50. 50, ma'am.
51, 52, 53, 54, 55,
Yes, ma'am. 55.
57, 58,
56.
59,
59%, ma'am. 59.
60, 61, 62,
Present, ma'am. 62.
63, 64, 65, 66,
65, ma'am.
67, 68, 69,
Yes, ma'am. 69.
70, 71,
Yes, ma'am. 70.
72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79,
Yes, ma'am.
81,
78, ma'am.
81%.
81,
81%, ma'am.
82,
82, ma'am.
83,
83%, ma'am.
84, 85, 86, 87,
86%, ma'am.
88,
87 का यूज हो गया था.
88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93,
Yes, ma'am. 91. Ma'am, 91.
93, ma'am.
91. Ma'am, 90%, ma'am.
93.
इनका अटेंडेंस बना है I'll mark absent. बहुत ज्यादा हल्ला हो रहा है क्लास में. 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99.
Yes, ma'am. 98.
99 भी हैं.
90, ma'am.
100, 101,
Yes, ma'am.
102, 103, 104.
Ma'am, 100.
100 भी हैं. 104, 105.
मैम 96 का म्यूट नहीं हो रहा है.
मैम 35 का भी.
और
35.
35, 60,
96.
ये डिसिप्लिन थोड़ा रोहित को भी सिखाइए कि जब टीचर रहे क्लास में तो पूछ के जाना चाहिए, डांटना ना पड़े उसको. आप क्यों सॉरी?